Alright, so this is going to be a quick video how to open up and disassemble this HP laptop model 15-DB0011DX. We're going to be upgrading the hard drive to an SSD, so I'm just going to show how to get the hard drive or the SSD out. Alright, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing the reassembly part because I am going to have to pull the hard drive out of this to do the thing, but we'll see. Alright, so let me grab this. We're gonna most likely need a PH or JIS1 screwdriver, and then we're likely gonna have to peel off both these rubber feet. So I don't see any screws back here, so let's peel off this rubber foot first. Okay, just get under here. You can use pry tools or whatever to get underneath. All right, and we're gonna have to peel this up. Let's see, yep, there's screws under there, so I'm gonna have to use a needle because it's stuck there. The adhesive came separate from the rubber piece, so I'm going to use a needle and just get the adhesive up. Okay, so we're going to peel up the adhesive here, and usually you want to pull the adhesive part because the adhesive part doesn't stretch. So I'm going to just pull the adhesive part after I got under there, as you can see, to peel it up just like this. Okay, and then I'm going to stick this back onto the rubber piece, of course, just like that, and we'll set that aside. Then we're going to remove the screws. You want to keep them in order because they can be different size, shapes, and lengths. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so 4 screws underneath there. Okay, then we got 1 screw here. I'm pretty sure this is also holding the optical disc drive or the CD drive or DVD drive, whatever you want to call it. Once you remove that screw, to remove the CD drive, I just use my fingernail and I kind of go up and down as I kind of pull on it, just like this, and eventually it pops out just like that. There we go. It's optical drive. They do sell adapters if you want to replace this with another hard drive. They have a hard drive adapter for this. Okay, so anyways, we got that. There's no screws hidden under here. And we're going to remove the other 2 screws here. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be like 1 screw on each side here because there's one on the very front right there. Actually, there might not be a screw because there's 2 screws here, but we'll find out. Okay, so remove those 2 screws. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit more since the laptop's not that big. All right, I'll just move it around. Okay, so I'm going to remove this screw on the front. And then let's check underneath here if there's a screw here or not. I'm going to just get underneath, peel that up. And yes, there are screws under here. Again, you want to peel the adhesive, not the rubber. So if you're pulling on it, because if it's just the rubber coming out, it's going to stretch. Okay, so there we go. And then there's actually 3 screws under here. So let's remove these 3 screws. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Alright, just like that. Okay, now to open up the laptop, let's see. So let's open the screen to make it easier. The gap is right here, okay? So between the palm rest and the edge of that. So the easiest way to open this kind of thing is I get my fingernails in the gap like this, okay? On both sides, and then I use my thumbs on the back to push just like this. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing or understand what I'm doing. Then you go around to the side, same thing, just go on the gap and then underneath and push. This part will likely be stuck, this bezel, so let's actually go to the other side here. Okay, and same thing, get your fingernails in there. You can use pry tools if you want, but I find this works the easiest. Just get your fingernails in there and then push with your back of your thumbs. Okay, so we got all of this except for this one side and the back here. The back here is likely going to be tough. Let's see if we can actually pull that out. I don't think so. All right, so let's try and work on this one and see if we can get this out. So usually, okay, what you want to do is you want to pull the plastic that way. So I use my fingernail in the back here. You can use pry tools again, and then kind of also from the front here, pull it up while you're kind of pulling this plastic out, okay? If it doesn't want to come out, then I don't know what to tell you, but you kind of have to work it to where the plastic kind of goes out and past these little clips. Okay, so sometimes it might break, so you want to be careful. There we go. There we go. Yep, so you gotta, as you can see, you can kind of stretch this plastic out there. Alright, so now that we got these 3 sides out, a lot of times you can kind of just pick this up and then wiggle it. Let's see if it's gonna come out. It's getting caught on something, so let's look inside. And there we go. There's actually some clips inside as well, so you kind of have to use a little more force. And let's see if we can get this out by wiggling it. No? Okay. So I'm gonna push the whole case over this way as I kind of pull up, and sometimes that will help get it out. I'll also try and pry from here. There we go. Okay. So again, now we can kind of wiggle it now that we got most of it out, and then the last corner you can kind of wiggle it, and there we go. Alright, so there we go. We got the cover off. And here you can see the 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. There's 1 stick of RAM. So to take out the RAM, let's zoom in. I'm going to turn it this way. To take out the RAM, you push these 2 metal tabs out to the side. The stick of RAM will pop up. You can pull it out just like that. And this is using a 4 gig PC4 2666V. So you can use any PC4 2666V RAM, but make sure, yeah, so match that. And then the size, you can get anything. You can get 2 8 gig sticks, another 4 gig stick, you can get 2 16 gig sticks. Actually, there's only 1 slot here, sorry. So it looks like they have the connection on the board here, but they don't have the actual slot. So if you want to upgrade this, you can get 1 8 gig stick, or you can get 2 or 1 16 gig stick. Sorry, you can't actually upgrade this with another stick. So you got the battery here. Let's see, the battery is HT03XL. So the battery is pretty easy to remove. There's only 3 screws here. I kind of don't want to remove it because if I take it out, it's going to reset the BIOS or the CMOS. But if you want, there's 3 screws here, and then, sorry, the 3 screws here, 1, 2, 3. And then after you take the screws, you can pull this up. It'll swing up at an angle, and these pins will release. All right. Again, I don't want to take it out because it's going to reset the BIOS or CMOS. Actually, maybe I should because I'm going to have to do the SSD anyway, so might as well. And then I can show you more of what's underneath. All right. Again, keep these screws in order because they can be different size, shapes, and lengths. If you mix them up, you can damage your computer. Okay. All right. And also, after removing the battery, if you're working on the computer, it's always a good idea to press and hold the power button 10 to 15 seconds. So the battery here, remove the 3 screws, pull it up like that, and then you can slide this out. Okay, so why is it holding so strong? You kind of have to wiggle it, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of stuck. There we go. All right, so there we go. We got the battery out. Here you can see the trackpad. This connects to the trackpad and the buttons. So the trackpad connects to the buttons here, and then the buttons connect to the board here. Got the keyboard connector under here. You got this board for the hard drive, and then you got this shorter cable. Actually, this larger cable's for the USB stuff here, and then this shorter one is actually for the hard drive. Okay. So the USB port and the SD card slot is all in this one, connected to this cable. Got the wireless card here. The fan, it looks like it's held in with just 1 screw here. This one's just a metal tab. It looks like you can actually lift it over this. Yep. Okay, but I'm not going to mess with all these. These kinds of connectors for the fan, you can just grab the wings and you kind of wiggle and pull it out. These ones, they have these little tabs that you can flip up, and then you can pull the connectors out easily. All right. So I'm going to put this back in. And if you're going to mess with the LCD or LVDS connector, which is right here, again, you're going to want to, after removing the battery, open it up and then press and hold the power button 10 to 15 seconds. This will drain any power from the capacitors and things, and it'll prevent damage to the board if you are removing the LCD LVDS connector. It won't make it 0% chance you can damage it, but there's a very good chance if you don't drain it and you pull this connector, you're going to damage something. So keep that in mind. You got the DC jack charge port here, and it connects with this. It routes through the speaker here, this these notches, and then it plugs in there. And same thing, you just grab the wings and you can kind of wiggle the connector and it will eventually pop out. Again, I'm not going to pull those out. To remove that, you do have to take the hinge screws out and lift the hinge up, and you also have to remove or move the LCD LVDS cable out. So I don't want to mess with that because I'm just upgrading this to an SSD. So let's see here. There's no screws holding this after you take the cover off. So it looks like we can actually lift this up, I think. Is it caught on something? Maybe, yes, no. I don't know. Okay. So I don't know why it feels like it's caught on something. It looks like it should just lift up. Maybe this plastic is bad here. Okay. Let's see here. So the hard drive, I mean, you should be able to lift this up, but for some reason the plastic here is damaged or something. So it's like caught on there. It's kind of weird. All right, so I guess we'll do it this way. We're gonna take this screw out from here. Normally you shouldn't have to do it this way, but it looks like I'm going to have to because it's stuck. And then we can lift the hard drive connector up this way, and I'm gonna actually pull the connector off. We can actually take this latch out, pull this out from the board, and then I'm gonna wiggle this SATA connector off. So here you can see. All right, I don't know why it's stuck like this. It shouldn't be. So there we go. Again, this normally shouldn't be stuck. You should usually be able to lift it up this way and then wiggle the hard drive out from that connector, but for some reason it was stuck. So anyways, we're gonna get the SSD, and if you want, you're gonna want to clone the hard drive over or do a clean install. So depending what you want, if you're not sure how to do that, just post a comment in the comment section below and I will help. I'll send you a video for how to do either. Cloning, if your computer's working fine, is the best way, but if your hard drive is dead or something, or you kind of just want to start clean with a clean install, then you can do that. But we're going to transfer this bracket over. Okay, get those screws in. Oops, it's not lined up. There we go. All right, and I still have to clone the hard drive, but just for the sake of showing how to put it back together, put this back on. And again, normally you would have this still attached, and as you can see, like if you can lift this up, you can just wiggle this and pull the hard drive out. So that's normally how you would do it, okay? But I guess we can do it that way too. It's fine. See, for some reason this latch has a hard time going back in, so I don't know if somebody like damaged this piece here or something or what, but yeah, maybe this design is just different. It's kind of, yeah, this kind of gets stuck for some reason. So anyways, I mean, hopefully you get the idea. And let's take this back out because I am going to still have to clone the hard drive, but you'll have to guide this back in, lock this back down. I'm not sure what this other small connector is here. It looks like a keyboard backlight connector. So it looks like on some models your keyboard will actually come with a backlight. This one doesn't have that. But anyways, I'm going to take this back out. Hopefully you get the idea. You just do it in reverse. Put this connector back in if you want. And then, yeah. Alright, so let's get this back in. Make sure you get it lined up right. Alright, it's in all the way. Put that latch back down. Drop this thing in place. We'll put this little screw back on. I'm going to have to clone the hard drive first, and actually I'll clone the hard drive. I'm going to pause the video here. I'll clone the hard drive and then I'll show you guys how to reassemble it. Okay, I'll be back in a bit. Alright, I'm back. So let's put this thing back together. We cloned the hard drive to the SSD. Now we're just going to plug the SSD into here, okay? And then we're going to put this back in just like that. Alright, make sure it's connected properly. Alright, so let's see, I think we got everything else. We're going to put the battery back in. So, oops, I forgot to turn on my monitor. Well, I guess I'm doing this blind. So we're going to just line this back up. Make sure that this lines up. push that down. Okay, everything should be good and lined up. Okay, then we're going to get the screwdriver. Make sure you're using the PH1 or JS1. All right, we'll put back the 3 screws for the battery. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot to set up my monitor properly, so I'm going to go in blind because it's kind of a bit of work to do it now since I'm already almost done putting this thing back. Alright, so we'll get all of this back together. It looks like on some models they actually have an M.2 slot here, but this one they don't have that slot. They ripped it out, so it's kind of strange. They just reused the same design. Anyways, I'm going to clean this out a little bit because it is a little dusty. Okay, so this cover we're just going to put back on. Alright, just like this. And the first time you power it back on, because the CMOS or the BIOS battery is actually also the main battery, it's going to ask you, or it's going to tell you that the BIOS was reset, and you're probably going to also have to reset the date and time and the clock. Anyways, just snap back all these clips here. Okay. Right, get the CD drive or the optical drive and put that back in. So I'm going to try turning it on before I put back all the screws in. I believe their charger was also, or their battery was also dead, so let me plug this thing in. Okay. Hopefully I won't get messages while I'm doing this because I forgot to also disable my message repeat thing. So it's going to keep beeping at me until I respond if I don't turn that off. Alright, so we'll get that. We'll plug the charger in. Alright, let's turn it on. Screen is going on and off. That's a good sign. Alright, so here we go. Like I was saying, CMOS is invalid. CMOS will be reset. Okay, that was expected. Press enter to reboot. Okay, so it didn't actually ask me to change the date and time, so I don't know if this one it saves it still, or the internet it'll just resume it. So the computer's starting up already, and I cloned the hard drive. If you're not sure how to clone it and you need a video for that, just post a comment in the comment section below, and I will link you to that video. Okay, so the computer's starting up. Please wait. And I think we're good, so I just wanted to make sure it booted up okay. Usually after installing the SSD or changing the hard drive, you want to restart the computer one time just using the normal restart menu, because Windows 10, when you shut it down, it actually doesn't reset the system files. So here you go. It looks like the date and time is right. Actually, that's wrong. Monday, April 5th is right, but I don't think it's 5:06. Actually, that's probably all wrong. Let me see. It is, actually that's right. It's 8:04 though, PM, so the time is wrong, but the date is right. So anyways, I'm just gonna restart the computer, but it looks good. So I'm just gonna close this up, make sure all these clips are good. Now that it has an SSD, you don't have to worry if you like shake the thing around, unlike with the hard drive. So I highly recommend upgrading to an SSD. It also makes the computer a lot faster. Okay, so it's restarting now. Once I see the screen turns off, I'm going to close the screen, and then we're just going to put back the rest of the screws. Okay, so the screen went off. I'm going to close this up. We're going to put back the rest of the screws while it's doing that. Be careful with the plug. Some people, if you leave it plugged in, they're not careful and knock that around. So you want to be careful. I've had customers carry around the thing with the plug in like that and damage it. Alright, so now we're going to just put back these screws. Alright, we'll put this front one in first. There we go, and then we'll put the 3 that are underneath this rubber strip. Okay, when you put back the rubber strip, make sure you put the thinner one on the bottom. The thicker one goes towards the back. Okay, hopefully you can see everything I'm doing here. I'll try and just make sure everything is in the middle of the camera when I do this. Alright, so let's take the rubber foot back. We'll stick that, put it in the edge first, and then you can go over and then try and guide this one to the edge as well, and then just work your way back towards the center. Okay, just like that. Alright, now we'll get the two outer screws here. We'll get this one. Go over, we'll put in this one. Okay, and then we'll get, don't forget the optical drive or the CD drive screw here. Okay, then we got this one up here. This one here. Alright, and then the last two, this one and this one. Again, when you put back the rubber strip, make sure to get it all the way to the edge here, and then go to the other one. You can line up that edge, and then just work your way towards the center from both sides inwards. There we go. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please like, subscribe, help others find my videos. Thank you for watching. It restarted perfectly. And I'll see you in the next one. Alright, bye.